Welcome to Arkansas Wildlife. We've got another great show lined up for you this week. Going to be all about turkey hunting. Specifically, we're going to go out on a couple of youth turkey hunts. First stop will be the Lake Sylvia Recreation Area and the Ouachita National Forest, where we're going to go to the annual Arkansas Game and Fish Commission Youth Turkey Camp. After that, we're going to head up to north central Arkansas to a turkey camp for kids up between Heber Springs and Mountain View, the Central Arkansas Youth Turkey Camp, and I'm going to take my granddaughter on her very first turkey hunt. But first, we're going to tell you all about a brand new license system from the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission that's going to make it easier than ever for hunters and anglers to purchase and carry a hunting and fishing license. All that and this week's winner of a free hunting and fishing license right after this break. Arkansas Wildlife is brought to you in part by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Academy. Buying a hunting and fishing license, applying for a wildlife management area permit, checking deer or turkeys, even checking the status of a WMA permit application, all of that's about to be a whole lot easier for hunters and anglers in Arkansas. The Arkansas Game and Fish Commission launched a new licensing system on April 1st. We're doing away with the old license, the old accordion license like this, and replacing it with a simple 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper like this that you can print out from a home computer or have a licensed vendor print it out for you. And of course, the coolest thing, you can now, for the first time ever, carry an electronic version of your license on a smartphone. Getting your hunting or fishing license is easier than ever before. It's simple. You just go to agfc.com, click on Buy a License, and then you'll be brought to the home page for the new license system. You'll see the options there. You can purchase a license or permit, WMA applications. Something you can do easier than ever before is reprint a license that you've already purchased. It used to cost $5 to replace that. Now you just print it out from a home printer. You can check game. It's kind of been a little hard to navigate to the game checking page on the website before. All of it's going to be right here together. You can buy gift certificates. You can make a donation to Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry, subscribe to Arkansas Wildlife Magazine, check on the status of a WMA application. And one of the coolest things that I like is you can actually check almost up to the minute harvest statistics for deer and turkey through this new system. And hey, don't worry, if you don't have a smartphone, if you're not real computer savvy, you can still go to a licensed vendor or one of the game and fish offices around the state and purchase a license and have it printed out just like you've always been able to do. One of the most common questions we've been getting with this new license system is what about game tags? They're actually going to be printed out right here with your license. So all of your deer and turkey tags will be right here. Another common question that we've been getting is, well, it's not waterproof or Tyvek like the old license was. We're just suggesting that folks get a little zip seal bag like this, fold your license up, drop it in, and carry it with you when you go hunting or fishing. It's as easy as that. Now, if you already have a current license that looks like the old style, the accordion part that's waterproof, you don't have to replace that until it expires. So just don't worry about this new license system until your old license expires. Another question we've been getting, if you use the electronic version, what if I don't have a cell signal? Well, this is a PDF file that you will just save to your phone or as an email, so you don't have to have a signal. If your phone dies, what about that? Well, our wildlife officers can take your information, name and address, phone number, driver's license number, and call our radio room 24 hours a day to make sure you have a current license. So no worries there. All in all, we think this is going to be a great, easy system that's going to make everybody's lives a little bit easier. Arkansas Wildlife is brought to you in part by Zimmerman Sports Center on South University in Little Rock. The Lake Sylvia Recreation Area in the Ouachita National Forest served as home base for the annual Arkansas Game and Fish Commission Youth Turkey Camp. Game and Fish staff and volunteers welcomed these first-time turkey hunters with an overview of turkey biology, turkey hunting tactics, and firearm safety. But the campers didn't have long to wait to get a more hands-on lesson in Arkansas turkey hunting. Youth hunter Michael Emberson was up and running well before sunrise, traveling to a prime hunting spot with volunteer guide J.D. Crawford. As the eastern sky brightened over the Ouachitas, the hunting party settled into a hiding spot and waited for the first sign of an opening day gobbler.
As day was breaking, we started listening. We heard some gobbles, but they were really too far to actually get them to come in. So we packed up and we just left and went somewhere else down in this little draw.
You can chase that bird all day and never get close to it.
Yeah, I'm out here to kill a bird, so my plan was if we didn't have a deal, if he'd been hot and we'd been on him close, yeah, we'd have stuck and just set it out.
The first morning's second spot featured a wide view of a clearing. Michael and JD didn't even make it to the area before running into a turkey.
On the way in, we spooked a hen, and then we set up the decoy, and then we started calling it.
They eventually got an answer, but that was about the extent of that gobbler's interest.
We got a gobble, but they were on the other side of, pretty far, a few hundred yards out. And so we couldn't get to come in, and so we ended up packing up and then going back that afternoon.
They've got to be roosting up in here somewhere. They're going to roost where they can see this open area. So let's just walk her out and scout. If we hear a bird, that's going to be a bonus, but we can just set ourselves up for a successful afternoon. Kind of feel good about it. Let's go scout this out.
They saw enough sign and felt good enough about the area that they went back there after a short lunch break.
That afternoon, we went down to the same spot that we went that morning. We went to the spot where there's a bunch of sign. There was a fire break that we had walked in, and there was this little creek down there, and so we had sat, just a couple feet from the creek. Well, these two jakes came in, and then they were walking down the fire break, and they were just looking at our decoy, and then they ended up coming almost straight at us. Got on the other side of the creek and started walking up the hill, and that's when I shot. There was one that went up, and then there was one that went that way. One that flew off that way. The one that I shot had a little bitty short beard like that. I mean, it just barely sticking out. They ended up going behind us, and I shot, and I missed one.
You seen feathers?
Nope. They came pretty close to where we were. They were, just a little bit, few feet from where we were hunting. So, it was pretty fun to get them that close.
Michael only had a few hours to think about that missed shot. He was back in the saddle the very next morning.
So we got up the next morning. We left camp at 5 o'clock, and we went to the same spot that we had the day before. We set up, and we were down by the creek again. The wind was really bad, and we were by a spot where we couldn't really hear.
This ain't looking good for us this morning with this wind. See if we can find a place on the uphill side to set up. That way we can see down this road better.
So we moved up onto the actual clear cut. The reason why we went up there to the clear cut so we can see down this fire break, because it was kind of a bend. So we sat right on the edge of the bend, and so we could see down either side and down in the little valley, because that's where they're kind of coming in from. We heard a couple gobbles, and then they didn't really come. As we were fixing to leave that spot, we saw 2 jakes up in the top of the clear cut. There's 2 or 3 of them. They're pretty far, but they're running uphill.
Unfortunately, their attempt to outflank the jakes was unsuccessful.
I'm better prepared for the next hunt that I go on, because I just learned a lot of stuff on how to call turkeys and how to set up on different situations and stuff.
At least you've seen turkey.
Yeah.
You missed a turkey.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Can't always get them all.
Can't get them all, but can't ask for a prettier place to hunt.
No.
Your dad knows where to come to if you want to come down here hunting.
Yeah.
Michael didn't bag a bird during the youth hunt, but he and the rest of the campers got to share in the success of Cade Johnson of Cabot, who brought in this 2-year-old gobbler.
All right, you ready to tell the story?
Anybody else get one?
You got to tell us the story.
I was asleep. He shot the end.
Dude, that thing's got a rope on it, bud. Let me see a spur. Oh, yeah. Did he spur you?
No, sir. He was after his mentor and got beat him to it.
That's awesome. Good job.
Shake a hand. Congratulations, man.
Right now, you're winning the turkey pot.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. That's what it's about.
Cade had plenty of reason to smile after bagging his gobbler, but at the annual Arkansas Game and Fish Youth Turkey Camp, it's never hard to call up some good times in the great outdoors. Arkansas Wildlife is brought to you in part by Arkansas's own PK Grills, maker of the new PK 360, the best and last grill you'll ever buy.
They're trying to play tricks on us. There's a turkey that I was planning on us getting on first thing this morning. Now it started gobbling over there where we came in. And we walked this whole circle. That ain't right.
Last spring, we headed up to the Central Arkansas Youth Turkey Camp. Our old pal David Mitchell, a longtime friend and supporter of this show, invited me to bring my granddaughter Autumn up for her very first turkey hunt.
You've been practicing, and you're gonna kill turkey.
There were about 10 kids at this inaugural year for the camp, and they all started rolling in on Friday afternoon and evening, and once we all got settled into the bunkhouse, we had a big barbecue dinner. The kids got paired up with their guides for the weekend, and they also got a really cool swag bag with some camo clothing, head net, some turkey calls, and one of my favorite giveaways was this Montana decoy company Ms. Perfect 3D hen that Autumn promptly named after her best friend. Autumn and I were teamed up with Terry Phillips from Jonesboro. Terry is a longtime turkey hunter, done some competition calling, quite successful at it over the years, but a great turkey hunter. Many of the guides had scouted out private land that was accessible to the kids from this camp, and we headed out in the pitch black, walked across the cow pasture and dropped down into a little wooded draw and started listening and calling for turkeys. Terry had heard quite a few birds in this area in the days leading up to the camp, but for whatever reason, it was a little cooler that morning. They just weren't gobbling.
This is really not how we planned this morning. is it? They were supposed to be a lot more cooperative.
Had to kind of call a little bit of an audible, started walking and headed off another couple hundred yards down this little draw and set up. Autumn and Terry got settled in by a tree. I was about 10 yards behind them, and we didn't have to wait very long at all. Terry started making some little soft yelps and clucks, and pretty soon 2 gobblers answered. They were getting louder and louder. I thought, man, it is just a matter of time before these birds show up on this ridge right in front of us, and it's gonna happen. After a little bit, the sound of those turkeys started to grow fainter. I don't know if we were maybe overconfident, because I sure thought they were coming in, but it was pretty obvious after a minute or two that they were headed in the other direction. So we picked up, kind of stretched our legs, and then headed off after those turkeys. We went down this little draw and to the area where the turkeys apparently had been gobbling earlier that morning. Didn't see them, didn't hear them at first. We did this several more times, and every time Terry would call, we'd think we were getting a little bit closer, and the birds were just staying just ahead of us.
But now there's 2 of them just over there.
Maybe they just stop gobbling when you call them, and they try to like make the sound bounce over here.
They're throwing their voice. You think they're ventriloquists?
Pretty soon, after about 30 minutes or so, it was obvious they had taken us in a big circle around this pond that was in the bottom of this draw.
Well, I'm trying to decide whether we're hunting them or they're hunting us, because we started out over there and we went around this way of the pond, and they've come around this side. Now they're back over there where we set up, and we're on their side. We've swapped sides of the pond.
We did a lot of walking, a lot of hiking that morning. Autumn was wearing a little Fitbit, and by about 7:45, she'd already taken 8,000 steps. We worked on these birds and chased them for a couple of hours, but it was pretty soon obvious that they just weren't going to cooperate. They took us on a big old circle around that pond. So we loaded up, headed over to another area a couple miles away. Heard a couple more birds that morning, but it just wasn't going to be our day. Terry gave it his all. Autumn was a real trooper, but just, you know, sometimes the birds don't cooperate. But we had a great time, great experience for Autumn on her first turkey hunt at the Central Arkansas Youth Turkey Camp. And you know, one of my favorite parts about it is that we got this decoy here. And if I can distract Autumn long enough, I go into her room where she keeps it with her stuffed animals, and now I've got a great turkey decoy that I can use during the regular season.
Arkansas Wildlife presents the Watch and Win giveaway. During each episode of Arkansas Wildlife, we'll give away an Arkansas resident hunting and fishing license, a $35.50 value provided by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Visit the Arkansas Wildlife webpage at agfc.com/Arkansas Wildlife TV and click on the Watch and Win icon to enter. Arkansas Wildlife TV isn't the only way to learn more about outdoor recreation and conservation in the natural state. The award-winning Arkansas Wildlife magazine can be delivered to your mailbox for just $12 a year. A subscription consists of 6 bi-monthly issues, including the popular Arkansas Wildlife calendar. Get yours today.